Hey guys, and welcome back! Simon here bringing you another Magic the Gathering product video. Today we'll be looking at the upcoming newest addition to MTG's Duel Deck series, Nissa vs Ob Nixilis. It's a set of decks that hold between them a lot of lore significance, so I thought it would be fun to take a quick peek at them. Like other Duel Decks we've seen, Nissa vs Ob Nixilis contains two decks with separate cards, utilizing different playstyles and strategies. As you would imagine, Nissa Revane's deck is mono green with elves, ramp, and large elemental creatures. By contrast, Obby's deck is mono black with removal, demons, and life sapping spells. Their decks reflect these two Planeswalkers' personalities and abilities perfectly. It shows how harshly they conflict with each other, and sets the stage for a brawl which can shake an entire plane. In fact, these decks were designed after a fight we've already seen in MTG lore, something which can't be said about other Duel decks out there. It recants the epic battle between these two passionate Planeswalkers during the Battle of Zendikar block. Ob Nixilis was once a conqueror of worlds, a man who made entire planes bend to his will. As he made his way across the multiverse, he found himself on Zendikar, a world that wouldn't fall as easily as his previous conquests. Zendikar's protector, a core named Nahiri, challenged the ancient ruler's claim to her home, shoving a hedron in his forehead and binding him to Zendikar. Over the countless eons, Ob Nixilis slowly took his demonic form, resulting in the loss of most of his Planeswalker abilities. Eventually, the hedron embedded in his head was removed, but that didn't restore his former powers. Years of plotting led him to an understanding of Zendikar's mana ley lines and its floating hedrons. He figured that the life of a plane could certainly fuel him with the power to regain his lost spark, and Zendikar would make the perfect sacrifice. Only one was able to stand between him and his glorious reunion with power, the humble elf, Nissa Revane. Nissa is a planeswalker and native of Zendikar. Though she is far younger and much less experienced than Ob Nixilis, her passion to protect her home stokes a fire that blazes hotter than the demon blood running through his veins. She had battled scores of Eldrazi broodlings and faced the Titan itself. If these monsters wouldn't end her world, then neither would this former planeswalker. Nissa discovered the demon as he was attempting to align hedrons in order to siphon Zendikar's mana. The last stone was nearly in place before she interrupted his ritual. Ob Nixilis at this point was quite done with Zendikar. All he wanted was his spark back, and he would leave the plane to its fate at the hands of the Eldrazi. Nissa saw this as just another threat to her home, more monsters trying to suck Zendikar of its life. She wouldn't let that stand. Their battle was one for the history books. Ob Nixilis was larger, stronger, and far more experienced, hitting Nissa with demonic black spells that sapped the very life out of her. Nissa, however, was quicker, dodging what attack she could and healing what damage she took with the vitality of her magic. Obby fought with the power of a demon. Nissa fought with the heart of Zendikar itself. Calling upon the soul of the plane, Nissa was revitalized with mana and overwhelmed Ob Nixilis. The nature of Zendikar came to her defense, as the cave that was their arena crumbled down on the demon's head, sparing the elf from its wrath. Battered, bruised, and defeated, Obby's plans were foiled, but he's never one to give up. He survived the encounter and would eventually get the last laugh. His Planeswalker spark would reignite, and Zendikar would be left at the hands of the Eldrazi. But we all know how that story plays out. Now that we know the story of Duel Decks, Nissa vs Ob Nixilis, let's look at some of the cards being featured in each. I'm not going to go over each of the decks in their entirety, so if you want to check them out, I've linked the article containing the deck lists in the description below. Since this is a deck about two Planeswalkers dueling, of course each will come with a Planeswalker card. Ob Nixilis reignited for the black deck, and Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, for the green deck. Both Planeswalkers got new artwork, and I do say they look amazing. Really, these Duel decks may be worth it just for the artwork here. But these decks aren't made from just Planeswalkers. Obby's deck is full of demons and removal. You'll see cards like Pestilence and Desecration Demon, a little heavy on the cost, but very impactful once in play. You'll also find a lot of removal, mirroring Ob Nixilis Reignited's own ability to remove targets. Spells like Doomblade will help slow down your opponent, and it's come with some new art. I love the point of view style used here. It shows Ob Nixilis just hacking through a target with Demonic Fury, a really flavorful touch. Another spell that mirrors the abilities of this Planeswalker card is Ambition's Cost, a nice way to give you card advantage at the cost of life. Ambition's cost also gets some new artwork, showing the true price of reaching for one's desires, like Ob Nixilis himself, who sought to conquer the multiverse. Sometimes ambition can be your own downfall. Nissa Revane's deck is far quicker and easier to set up, providing you with plenty of ramp and early drops to rush down your opponent before they can summon those scary demons. Cards like Sice Leopard and Nissa's Chosen are some of my personal favorites, but while Ob Nixilis' deck offers a few cards with new art, Nissa's deck isn't so lucky. That's probably my biggest complaint about the Nissa deck, which I actually prefer to the Ob Nixilis deck. Why didn't it get any cards with new art? Well, I guess one card did. Nissa's Planeswalker card, Voice of Zendikar. It shows her in an opposing battle position to Ob Nixilis reignited, and it looks really sick. As I said, the price of these decks may be worth it for these Planeswalkers alone. Anyway, that's my look at the upcoming Duel Decks, Nissa vs Ob Nixilis. Everything looks good, and I love the cards with new art. I just wish we got a little more love for the green deck. Again, if you want to check out the full deck lists, you can find a link in the description below. But before you leave, let me know what you think about these Duel Decks in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, consider throwing it a like, sharing it with a friend, and subbing to the channel. It goes a long way in supporting future content. As always guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.